Hey everyone, my name is Donnell and I just wanted to do a quick job of explaining to you what exactly the term lukewarm is. Now I'll just be upfront and honest when I think personally that a lot of Christians, I want to say misuse, but overuse the word lukewarm because every time there's an issue or something going on with someone, that's the first thing they say, lukewarm, lukewarm, lukewarm. It's reached the point where I know it did for me, where it probably just left a bad taste in your mind and in your mouth, and it just was a turn off rather than you actually being interested in understanding it. So that's my point. That's my purpose in this quick video, is just explain to you what exactly it means to be lukewarm so you don't shy away from it but you fully understand it. So we're going to start off with the actual definition of the term lukewarm, in, like if you search at Google, of liquid or food that should be hot, only moderately warm, tepid, meaning only slightly warm. That's the first definition. The second definition is showing little enthusiasm. That is the two terms that are very closely related to the biblical and spiritual definition of lukewarm. All right, so let's talk about where it actually comes from, right? Where we first heard the term lukewarm, or at least most of us do. It comes from Revelation chapter 3, verses 15 to 16. I know all the things you do, that you are neither hot nor cold. I wish that you were one or the other. But since you are like lukewarm water, neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth. So that's the context behind it. It's very important for you to understand a few things. Number one, I bet you probably thought that hot or cold is one thing or the other, meaning hot is good and cold is bad. That's a common understanding behind it, because I honestly thought that way too. It's actually a good thing to be hot or cold. All right, let me explain that. There are certain qualities in hot water that are good, like soothing and healing, and there are certain qualities in cold water that are refreshing. Don't you think that kind of explains why Jesus would say, I wish you were one or the other? Why would he wish that we were living in the world, that we were on the bad side? You know, maybe the thought was, okay, at least I would know which one you are. You're not back and forth on the fence. And I can understand why you think it's that interpretation. But no matter how you look at it, there's one main point that, and the message behind it, which is basically being fruitful, being purposeful, purposefully living for God, for Jesus. You know, that's the main point that Jesus is trying to say when he speaks to these people who were the Laodiceans. Anyway, the point is that's who he was speaking to. Brief history on that. Hot water and cold water used to come to the Laodiceans, if that's how you pronounce them. But by the time it reached them, it was lukewarm. It was nasty. It wasn't good for anything. And that's the point. That's why Jesus is saying, I'm going to spit you out of my mouth, because you have no purpose. You're not living for me. And so that term isn't, if it scares you, let it scare you in a good way. That term is used so much that people just run away from it. No, understand it so that you know how to apply it. Now that you know what the actual definition of lukewarm is, I challenge you to actually just ask yourself, like, where do you stand with God? Ask yourself if you're living purposefully for God or not. And don't be afraid, but take that as an encouragement, a push to be purposefully living for Christ. If you have a relationship with him, I encourage you to continue to grow in it and grow in him. If you don't have a relationship with Christ, I encourage you to get serious about him and actually develop a relationship with him. Get to know Jesus. And that's basically all I have to say about the topic of lukewarm. If you have any other questions that you have for me, or any comments, just respectfully leave them if you want to leave them. So just share this video with anyone you feel could be blessed by it, or just in general, and just God bless. Thank you. Bye.